Studio check.
Frequencies check.
We are live on air.
You are listening to the In Fact Blessing, the airwaves. Take the journey into the world of sports, news, entertainment, while embracing the hottest beats on the planet. Come on, rocking the mind, body, and with energy, electricity, and a splash of controversy. Now, without further ado, it's our pleasure to bring to you
the biggest show in the world.
The biggest show in the world.
The biggest show in the world. The SBTV Nation.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It's a brand new week. Happy Monday to everybody. We are the SBTV Nation, the It Factor, 194 countries strong. It is time to have a conversation about the NFL, and I am sitting here talking to my man, The Dream. Dream, what's up?
I'm in a different state of mind today, as I am now today going to start issuing pink slips.
Pink slips.
It's Pink Slip Monday in the house right now for me. Some folks I done had enough with in football and in sports and just in general. So I'm going to be giving out some pink slips during this show as we get into it and discuss a little bit of what went down yesterday.
Absolutely. So what we're going to do, guys, we're going to recap everything that went on yesterday in the NFL Sunday. We are going to talk the new college football rankings that they have come out. And we're going to talk a little Monday Night Football. Big show set up for you, so be ready, strap your seatbelts on, and let's get right into it, Dream. Let's talk about
people. Yes. Hold on. But you know what? The first people I want to talk about with a pink slip, though, have you ever been in a grocery store, Walmart, any of those organizations, is seen that cat in the Lark riding around up and down the aisles?
Yes.
And not handicapped, though.
No, not really.
Oh, right. And that's my thing. Those people right there, big time issue with, okay? The big time issue, you're in the aisle in one of those motorized cart things, running over people, beeping, backing up, stomping on people's feet, because you two don't want to get up and walk around the store. Shouldn't be allowed in there, Hat.
I got you. I completely understand that.
Shouldn't even be allowed up in that piece. What it was I'm talking about.
Of course, man. So good morning to everybody. We are ready to rock. Let's have a conversation about what went down in London yesterday. Dream, we were on the show and the Giants were down 10-0.
Yep.
And they managed to come back yet again and score 17 unanswered points. And their defense was amazing for me in fantasy. I got 21 points out of their defense. And they beat the Rams 17-10 in London.
Okay.
Case Keenum, 32 for 53, 291 yards. The problem for him, 4 interceptions, Dream. So you know what? Hey, the Rams have been moving the ball a little bit better, but they're just not scoring points. And you know what? That spells disaster. They are now 3-4 after starting off pretty damn good. I think they've lost 3 straight now, Dream. And the Giants. Yep.
All right, I'm sorry.
The Giants are now 4-3, so looking to kind of peek their head above 500 and try to make some noise in that division. And obviously the division is pretty damn good. The NFC East, they has all winning teams.
NFC East does look like it's potent this season. We go and we look at the New York Giants and you look at the Los Angeles Rams, and there's still a lot of question marks with both teams. You know, we knew the Rams weren't as good as they were, and then we knew the Giants weren't as bad as they were looking as well. But both teams have some borderline pink slip issues within themselves. First of all, when you look at the Rams, I think you look at Jeff Fisher and you say, hey, why are you still a head coach?
I know.
Okay?
He always manages to have a job.
My first question about Def Jeff is why he always managed to be on the sidelines in a pair of sunglasses looking like he just, got off the beach somewhere. Then when you look at the Giants, I don't like the Giant coaching staff at all. I talked about them and their accountability of their players. I don't think that they are as disciplined as they should be as far as management of players and the system that they run. It seems to be a very lackadaisical atmosphere there. which kind of transcends over into their gameplay on the field, but they do manage to win in certain situations. The London thing, that was a good look for them, especially to beat a Ram team that I don't really think is that great. I'm still wondering, where the hell is Todd Gurley at?
I don't know. He's just definitely underperforming this year. And if you got him on your fantasy team, you drafted him pretty damn high, too. And it's just not materializing.
It's like their top 5. He's like, in every league, 1 to 5.
57 yards on 15 carries yesterday. Not all that. There's some other running backs that are completely dominating this year. And you know what? Gurley is not one of them, Dream.
Not getting it
Not
done.
one of them. The New Orleans Saints go into the Kansas City Chiefs and lose 27-21 and score that last backdoor cover touchdown, Dream. You know what? I managed to get Kansas City in a moneyline parlay with my upset special of the day. I managed to do a teaser, so I hit both of those, but then I sprinkled a little bit on the spread, and I ended up losing by a half point on that one.
Well, Kansas City, this game had that type of feel. You probably went against Drew Brees, outside.
Of course, I always do.
To inside guy. I thought the last play of the game, actually, you're lucky that you got out of this game like this, because the last play of the game where they said the guy didn't get out of bounds, did you see that?
I did not.
Well, they ran a play. He threw the ball to Michael Thomas, and it appeared to me he was out of bounds and the clock should have stopped. And the refs were like, no, and said the clock ran and the time ran out. I mean, Sean Payton was going crazy. Drew Brees also, jumping up and down. It clearly, I don't know about you guys, but to me, it looked like that it went out of bounds. And this is my next candidate for pink slips is the NFL refereeing.
Yep.
Atrocious this season, man.
I've seen a lot of bad calls.
There's a ton of
missed calls, bad calls, everything.
Of the bad calls is just, some stuff they call, some stuff they don't call. I'm looking at guys standing right in front of situations, not calling flags, then guys calling flags and stuff that they can't even see. The NFL, the refereeing has been at an all-time, I think, just disaster.
It has. And do you feel that there is almost a quota on throwing flags?
No.
You don't think so at all? Like they have to throw a certain amount of flags? You don't feel that way?
Nope, not at all.
There's certain situations where I feel that. I honestly do. It's almost like, you got to give out a certain amount of tickets if you're a police officer or whatever. Kind of the same thing.
No way.
No way. You don't think so?
Well, it's not true.
That's not true. Okay. Moving on here, the Indianapolis Colts surprisingly go into Tennessee and win the game by 8 points. You know what, Dream? This is just – this division, this is going to be the worst division in the NFL, I think. Personally, because you know what? These two teams now are 4-3, and you got Houston going into Denver tonight, and we'll talk about that game later on. But, this might be, again, a 500 division, or maybe like a 9-7 team emerges and gets into the playoffs. Colts win by 8.
Mariota turns this ball over on their final their last drive before they're down. I can't remember what the score is. All I know is Tennessee had the ball with the ability to score. There was plenty of time on the clock for them to get up down the field and win this game. And Mariota ends up turning this ball over on this particular drive, which just exclamation point ends this game. And it's just, it's a travesty the way that the Titans lose this game, because the Titans go down in the beginning of the game, then muscle their way back into the game, and then still make it a competitive game. DeMarco Murray kills it again. 25 carries, 107 yards, 1 touchdown. He's a workhorse definitely for the Titans. But Mariota's gameplay in this game is a little bit of question. I don't know who the quarterback coach is with Tennessee, but they may be on the precipice of a pink slip as well, because this guy, if they could get solid, consistent gameplay out of Mariota,
yep,
this Titan team could probably be pretty good.
I agree with you. And you got the two-headed monster there, Derrick Henry and DeMarco Murray. That's a pretty good running back tandem.
I don't even think they're using Henry anymore, though.
Yeah, not really.
Murray's been so successful this season, and he's been just, so dynamic of a runner. At the beginning of the season, because I had DeMarco Murray on my fantasy team, and there was a lot of, I I was back and forth with, should I get Murray or should I get, or should I, pick up the other guy? And I'm like, I opted for Murray, but I was worried that, too many shared touches. That lasted for all maybe one quarter at the first game of the season. And after that, Murray just completely is taken over.
Oh, absolutely. Because Derrick Henry had 1 carry for 3 yards yesterday.
That's
That's it.
Go murder the bench.
Go murder the bench. Exactly. DeMarco Murray is definitely having a solid year, and he was great. And I did have him in a couple of fantasy lineups yesterday, and it worked out pretty damn well as one of my running backs.
Really surprised with him. I didn't think that this guy, I never really liked his running style, and I didn't appreciate it. I thought he benefited just from a little bit of luck and obviously a very good, a good offensive line. I didn't think that he was going to be able to stay healthy, and knock on wood, because he's been healthy for most of this season, but hopefully, I'm hopefully not jinxing him. I've been very impressed and has completely turned my opinion around about DeMarco Murray as far as a running back. He is definitely one of the better running backs in the NFL.
My upset special today yesterday came to Forum Dream as the Philadelphia Eagles laid the smackdown on the Vikings, 21-10.
Hey, there goes Sam I Am. We've been looking for Sam for 6 weeks, and they finally showed up yesterday. Awful game.
I didn't think it was an awful game. I thought it was a pretty good. It was not. Philadelphia's defense at home. Their dream. They tortured him all day. He couldn't even. He had no time whatsoever. The blitzes they were dialing up and just the front four pressure and all that. They were just hammering him left and right.
I got to stop you for a minute because I want to say this to you. When I say awful game, right? You had 14 points scored in the first half,
right?
And you had 17 points scored in the second half. Okay, this game was pretty kind of boring, but if you liked it from a defensive standpoint, now before we started the show, you said to me last night's game was terrible.
Yes.
It essentially just there was a couple of more points scored in the Eagle game.
Yeah, all right, I got you. I don't know. It's 31 points compared to 12. Come on. Hey, you know what? It's my upset special today. You know what? Dream Philadelphia Eagles at home are solid. 3-0 at home, and they're going to be tough to beat over there. What's that?
They got no. Listen, dude. The Eagles don't have any offense, man. That is not. We know the Vikings don't have a lot of offense, and we know that they're a good defensive team. I get that, but any other team that goes into Philadelphia that has a smidgen more of offense, that game might have went a whole nother way. Hey, your only score for the Eagles, one of their is a punt return.
Yeah, I know, and that's where they got the 2-point conversion as well.
Right, they're putting up no offense, dude.
Carson Wentz, 138 yards. That's all he had yesterday. And this was definitely the quarterback ratings for the both of them were super low in this affair. And you know what? Just watching it, Dream, hey, we talked about the Minnesota Vikings that you and I both did not believe in them. I don't. And you know what? They had adversity and obviously could not come back at all.
And we're going to discuss a little bit, Jonesy hit me up yesterday and talked about, I think he put it out on Twitter, the ability that the Eagles had to rush Sam Bradford from the right side. That's in some of the scouting reports as far as he's concerned. I've seen him rush from the right side in some of the prior games too, but he just had some success. They were doing that in Green Bay as well. We have talked about this team offensively and not understanding how they were winning games. I have not been able to understand how the Vikings have won games. And I do know that they have a good defense, but when the defense is put on the field for an elongated time period, if the offense is not able to produce, generally you lose football games.
Right.
Don't understand how the Vikings had won up to this point. Listen, they were getting after Sam a lot. Sam's getting banged up back there. There's some talk about that offensive line having a lot of breakdowns. That running game is looking really inept. There may be some bad future days coming for the Minnesota Vikings this season.
Well, especially when you got to go into Lambeau and you got a couple of other places you need to play, some hostile environments. It's going to be tough for them. They'll probably, just starting out, what were they, 5-0 to start out? And the 72 Dolphins are obviously cracking champagne yesterday, but they have some really tough games coming up, guys. So, you know what? Minnesota Vikings, I'm just going to say, not so fast. We've been saying that ever since day one, Dream.
Yes, we have.
Not so fast. So looking at another one that was pretty much the easiest game of the day was the Cincinnati Bengals as they emerge over the Cleveland Browns. Browns are 0-7, bro.
Browns 0-7. There's no answer for that.
No.
Then maybe an exorcism as well. Get them up out of there. You know what? They will probably be wanting to move in a minute too.
Yeah.
They shouldn't be allowed to move anywhere other than just in that whole idea of a football team in Cleveland.
Exactly. Brutal loss for them, though. I mean, and there was no points scored in the fourth quarter by either team.
No points scored in the fourth quarter by either team. And I'm not all that excited about Cincinnati either. No. I mean, they had to win, back against the wall, must-win situation. A.J. Green's circus catch made in the end zone. That's exciting. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not going crazy with the Cincinnati Bengals just because they beat the Browns 31-17.
Well, Weave and I were talking about it last week that the Cincinnati Bengals, that's probably your best value right now, considering the fact of the division itself. I mean, Dream, if you look at that division, you got Pittsburgh, who's got Landry Jones at the helm now.
And we will get to that.
All right, which, they got, 4 to 6 weeks without Big Ben. And who else you got? You got the Ravens and the Browns. Think about it. Cincinnati's got a shot to win that division. As far as bad as they started out, they could probably emerge. It's crazy to say, but I think there were some like 80s to 1s and stuff like that. So might be a pretty good team to get involved with. Looking at the next one here, you got the Redskins who lost to the Detroit Lions. The Lions are now 4-3, winners of 3 straight games. And I'm surprised that I did not get involved with them yesterday. It would look like a stomach ache anyway, though, Dream.
Just, these teams, one of them make the playoffs and get you in the wild card. Yep. You could see it all day. Another 2 teams that you just don't trust, just like the Minnesota Vikings. At least I do see some offense in both teams, and I probably trust the Lions just a tad bit more than the Redskins, but don't trust either one of these teams either, though. And not impressed with this win or what either of them have done all season. It just was a bumbly, stumbly, fumbly type of game for me. I don't know if you caught any of it, but every time I turned around, it was like, here we're gonna, I don't know, let's try this, and then all right, let's try that, and hey, okay, somebody's open, let's hit him. I mean, just one of those. Just the defense would make a mistake, then the offense would make a mistake. Just one of them crazy type games that the Lions flourished in that type of atmosphere. Both these teams just very dysfunctional to me still.
Middle of the road teams.
I wouldn't even say middle. I would say low to middle team. I don't think either of these teams are going anywhere.
Well, they're both 4-3, and the Lions are 3-1 at home. So don't be surprised if they upset a couple of teams in their division.
They will get that upset. But my thing with both these teams, they're a team that makes the wild card in the playoffs and probably just gets beat right out of it. It's their, it's that like that Cincinnati, Bengal thing. Last year's Texans.
They're the team that's a 9-point underdog going into a division winners stadium.
Exactly.
That week 1 of the playoffs. Yeah, definitely. So, all right. The Oakland Raiders, soon to be the Las Vegas Raiders, 5-2 now on the year. They go into Jacksonville and beat the snot out of the Jags, Dream.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to go crazy about the Jags. I don't know what everybody was able to bet yesterday. You guys must have been really torn as your 2 favorites went up against each other. And I'm all really, are we still yet not good with Blake Bortles? Because I am.
Oh, definitely. 2-4 on the year, 1-3 at home. Blake Bortles did have 246 yards, and the Oakland Raiders, one of the worst defenses in the NFL, and Jags only managed to score 16 points on them.
And you know what would be a travesty too, though, and I know they're going to Las Vegas, but the Raiders, after Raider fans dwelling with the Raiders not being good for all this last decade or whatever it is, how long they've ever been good. And now all of a sudden, they look like there's some upside and look like there's some, maybe they're going to be good and they're getting better and they're improving. And you're going to pick the team up and move them to Las Vegas.
I know. 5-2 on the year. And this team is in the division lead right now.
Big time smack in the face. But you don't believe in the Raiders, do you? No.
You know what, Dream? They're competitive in some games. Yep. And you know what? They're winning games that they're supposed to win. And you know what? This one here, if you looked at it at the beginning of the year, you might say, hey, maybe the Jags have the upper hand in this game. And they went and they won convincingly. I mean, they were up 2 touchdowns at the half. So this team, 4-0 away on the road. Not bad. But you know what? When you got to go into play the Denver Broncos or you got to play the Kansas City Chiefs, as we saw last week, I think they're going to have some issues moving down the road. Maybe a wild card team here.
Okay.
Miami Dolphins will be a 10-6 team, Dream, at the end of the year. As they beat the Buffalo Bills 28-25 and get it done. And Jay, I think you pronounce this game Ajayi. Ajayi, yep. 214 yards again. You know what? I ended up managing to put him on a couple of fantasy lineups, and he went bananas. Hey, you know what? All of a sudden, and if you look at the Dolphins' schedule, it gets kind of weak moving forward, Dream. 10-6 team.
Right.
Talk to me about the Buffalo Bills, how they lose this game.
Buffalo Bills lose the game defensively. The defense, shockingly, didn't come to play yesterday and kind of let Ajayi go ham on them, which I don't really get. After he rips off the first, some of these teams, I still wonder what in the heck goes on the sidelines with certain individuals. You look at certain things. When you look at the Dolphins, there's not a whole lot to pick out as far as we need to cover a whole bunch of people because they don't have a ton of weapons. So once Ajayi rips off his first big run, it's like, hey, listen, let's cue in on him, ate up the box. Let's lock that up and, shut that down. But you see teams' inability not to be able to do that and capitalize on it. Look, the Dolphins, stop. The Dolphins aren't
It's a 10-6 team.
Don't come on now. Start with that.
Telling you, watch out.
Don't start with that.
Sun is shining in South Beach, Dream. Get ready.
Not because of the Dolphins.
Moving on here, we got the Baltimore Ravens, who have lost 4 games in a row now and lose to the awful New York Jets. Jets are 2-5, win 24-16. Fitzy comes off the bench and says, "Hey, maybe you shouldn't have sat me at all."
Fitzy said that they lost faith in him, and what else? I forget how he put it, but Fitz. Well, maybe it was because of your gameplay.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
The coaches didn't believe in him and his gameplay. I said, "Well, how about because you were horrible?"
Yeah, right. Pretty much. So looking at it here, hey, New York Jets get it done. They were actually down at the half and shut the Ravens out in the second half. And now, look at the Ravens. We're undefeated and one of the odds-on favorites to win the AFC. And now on the outside looking in, Dream.
My thing with the Jets, when I look at the Jets, and this is one of those on-paper thing, and the Jets kind of remind me of Raiders of back in the day, too. When you looked at the Raiders in years past, sometimes every time you looked at them on paper, it was like, man, they're going to be good. They're going to be good. You look at this Jet team, and when I look at the Jets, and then I go over and I look at kind of like the Bills, maybe even the Raiders of this season, that's where I expected the Jets to be.
Yep.
And I thought that the Jets had great coaching staff, little bit of discipline. There's a lot of weapons here. Matt Forte's a weapon. Brandon Marshall's a weapon. You got a running back weapon. You got a wide receiver weapon. Getting a little bit of gameplay out of Quincy Enunwa is coming to form as well. Utilizing as a tight end spot. Also, the defense pretty solid with the exception of A-Rod back there, who I can't stand. Yep. But you just expected this team to play a lot better than they've been able to this season. So when you talk about a team with an upside, if they could figure this thing out, and swapping these quarterbacks is not, in my opinion, the right direction.
Sure.
But I think that this team has a big upside. They just need to get a little bit of momentum and find something in their chemistry and rhythm to get them back into winning games. Because, it's there. And, I still want to say that Bowles is one of the better coaches in the NFL, even though he has not shown it to me.
Well, the Eric Decker injury is a big blow to them.
I agree.
You know what I mean? So, but anyway, hey, they get the job done, and we'll see what ends up going down with them because they got to turn it around. They already got 5 losses on the year, and in the AFC, you're going to need to win pretty much all your games moving forward to even have a shot at making the playoffs. Maybe they're the team that'll bounce back, Dream. Because, there's that one team that does it, whether it's my odds-on favorites to do that are the Cincinnati Bengals, Carolina Panthers, and maybe possibly the New York Jets.
Wait, hold on. Give me that. Do you have that sound effect with the car crashing into the wall?
I really think that there's going to be one of these teams is going to turn it around. They have to. Well, they don't have to, but it's a very good possibility here. And one team that's not going to turn it around is your boys, the San Francisco 49ers, who are 1-6 and lose to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Dream. You said the
Yesterday when
Niners
we
would
did-
stink, and sure enough, they do.
And yesterday, and Cap said that he doesn't know why his protest would bring ratings down. And I get why he says that, because his gameplay stinks, so he figures that would be why the ratings would be going down, because he stinks. Yeah. I told you the Niners stink at the beginning of the season. You know, I put my stamp on this. I told you that this Niner team is not good. I've also been an advocate of Chip Kelly not being a good coach in the NFL. That system does not work with professional athletes. It does not work with adult males. In the capacity that he runs it, it doesn't work. I think that you can take small pieces of that and piece that together the right way with the right personnel, and that can work. But he's not the guy to do it, and I believe that he has one of those genius personalities, and it has to be done his way. He doesn't really listen to a lot of people around him. So take your ass to Oregon and go away.
Oregon needs him, too.
And Oregon does need him. Go over there, rebuild that up. You could be mean to the kids. You could tell them, listen, I know what I'm doing. I'm a genius. And everybody could talk about you being the next best thing right after Saban, Urban Meyer, and the rest of those guys, because you're still going to be 5. But you're done with the NFL. And the Niners need to really part ways with this guy. But, I mean, they've eaten up a lot. They spent a lot of money to bring him in. So he's probably going to be there another season.
1-6, 1-3 at home. They win their first game 28-0 versus the Rams, and then just lost 6 games in a row. Crazy. Dream, I know this game's got you sore and salty this morning.
Sore and salty and
final in overtime. The San Diego Chargers and your boy Phillip Rivers come back and beat the Atlanta Falcons at home. Are the Falcons who we thought they were?
They are, but they aren't.
Okay.
So they're going to go to the playoffs and lose like they always do. Like they always do. They just can't. Because Matt Ryan, unfortunately, just will always do something dumb. Right? Into this game, it's about 2 minutes left. 2 minutes and some change. Right before the 2-minute warning. They get a nice big first down out of Julio Jones, who, by the way, he was throwing to kind of exclusively on this last drive anyway. They're up 3 now, okay? They're up 3. This is because people have been scrutinizing this game from the overtime standpoint. I want to take you back before the overtime even starts. It's 1st and 20 because they just gotten like 3 false start penalties, whatever, out of the gate. But they're still on like the 45, almost 50-yard line. Matt Ryan, they call a pass. Play calling issue number 1. Why are you passing in that situation? You want to run the clock out. Why are you passing in a situation? I know it's first and 20, not 3rd and 20. Run the ball right out of the gate right there, but you opt for a pass. Matt Ryan throws an interception. That's an awful interception right there in that spot. That is very bad. So now, San Diego gets the ball. San Diego now had dominated your defense the whole second half.
Right.
Putting up 13 points, moving against this defense the whole second half, okay? So now, once San Diego crosses the 50-yard line, the Atlanta Falcons coaching staff does not use any of the 3 timeouts that they have left to give them some time with the ball in the event that Atlanta score and that San Diego scores. Now, I'm not even talking about a field goal to tie the game. I'm talking about you should be worrying about them scoring a touchdown to win the game at this point. They don't use any of their timeouts. None. So now they let the clock roll all the way down to 31 seconds when the Chargers kick the field goal to tie the game. Had they used their timeouts, they would have had at least a minimum 50 seconds to maybe a minute left in this game.
Sure.
Why they do it? This is awful head coaching. Now they get the ball, they take this 50, they 2 plays they run, and then they kick a 58-yard field goal that the guy misses.
Yep.
But you wouldn't even have to get to that spot if you used your timeouts and you did your in game correctly at the end of this game. Listen, dude, I am miffed, and nobody really hits him up with those questions because now all the questions get thrown out and all the attention's thrown to why did you go for it on 4th down? Now, Really quick on that. I don't have a problem with him going for it on fourth down. Anybody who watches the game knows the Atlanta Falcons ran the ball very successfully in that second half on the Charger defense. And the coach was smart enough to understand that I think he felt like if you give this ball back to San Diego, they're going to win the game anyway.
Sure.
So I don't really have a problem with him going for it on fourth down. Now, as far as the play call, okay, let me take it back one more. The play call on third down, the long quarterback sneak, that's a bad call.
And you know what? They actually only put up 3 points in the second half, Dream.
That's it.
The Atlanta Falcons. And this game still went over. 63 points scored in this game. So the over definitely came to form there.
But before before they went forward on fourth down, they called a quarterback sneak as opposed to running the ball on a 3rd and 1 situation. They had ran the play before and it was successful, but with the momentum that San Diego had, I just feel like some of the play calling at the end of this game should be very, very much so in question.
Sure, definitely. Moving on here, Dream. The New England Patriots continued their winning ways, 6-1 on the year, beat the Pittsburgh Steelers at home and covered their spread. They win by 11 points.
Oh, that's a shocker.
Strange game, though. It seemed a little strange to me. I don't know. You had texted me about it, and I was thinking the exact same thing, that it almost looked like they were just letting Pittsburgh hang around for a minute.
Pittsburgh kept getting more and more confidence as that game developed.
Right.
And like you said, they let him hang around a lot. Landry Jones did not look bad at all.
No.
Here's the deal, because a torn meniscus, Big Ben said yesterday that if it was the playoffs, he would have played this week. And I agree with that. So they let Landry Jones go to rest him, and then they get the bye. I wouldn't be surprised if – who do they have coming out of the bye? Let me look at this real quick. Who the Steelers? Do you know who they have play out coming out of this bye?
I could pull it up in a minute.
Ravens. They play the Ravens. Okay, they play the Ravens. I could see Big Ben coming back for the Ravens. However, if they want to save him for the Raven game and come back for the Cowboy game, it's probably smarter for him to come back versus the Cowboys at home, because Landry Jones probably can beat the Ravens.
Yeah, he had 281 yards yesterday. And Dream, you know what? Everybody, listen, the Patriots are dominant. You got the 2 tight ends with Gronk and Martellus Bennett. You got LeGarrette Blount going crazy. Obviously, you got Tom Brady, one of the best quarterbacks ever. This team is super, super good offensively, and they have actually strengthened that offensive line, which was one of their Achilles heels, is going back to last year. The challenge I have with them is their secondary. They let quarterbacks rip them apart in the secondary.
They let quarterbacks rip them apart in the secondary, and even though you talk about them being as offensively gifted as they are, they did not look that great yesterday versus the Steelers, who I don't consider the Steeler defense to be that good.
A lot of drop balls.
There was a lot of drop balls, but something about Brady threw a couple balls in the dirt. Maybe, that rusty game that you were looking for Brady to come back with, maybe it came yesterday, because they just did not look like themselves yesterday as far as the Patriots were concerned, but still got it done in an impressive fashion. Landry Jones, though, with the 70s porn star mustache hat, I know you had to be feeling that.
Yes.
Every time I saw him, that's all I could think about. Under his helmet, all you can see is that mustache when he was taking his snaps.
Right on. Landry Jones, had a pretty good day after all.
Had a pretty good day. I definitely think that the Pittsburgh Steelers could come out of the bye and beat the Ravens with Landry Jones and bring Big Ben back for the Dallas Cowboy game.
It's going to be a good game either way. And moving on here to the final game that happened last night, a 6-6 tie with the Seattle Seahawks and the Arizona Cardinals. And big ups to you for calling that Seattle an under teaser.
Okay.
I don't know. I didn't watch much of this game, Dream.
Dude, it was absolutely, if you like defenses, then it was a great game.
Yep.
If you like offenses, it was dreadful.
Yes. Looks that way.
And it was a mess, but it was, neither one of these, listen, Seattle's got serious issues. By the way, Seattle, last night's game just blueprinted the rest of the NFL Seattle has some issues that they need to deal with. I don't know how they fix some of this. That offensive line in Seattle, dude, as bad as it can be. This guy is getting he got no time last night. You're talking about Russell Wilson snapped the ball and boom, they were on his behind. No time at all. A lot of teams are going to copy the blueprint of what Arizona did. Moving forward, I see this is going to be rough for Seattle. I see Seattle going to the playoffs probably, but I don't see Seattle making a lot of noise with this offensive line. I just don't.
Well, there's not many one-loss teams. You have the Minnesota Vikings,
yep,
and you have the Dallas Cowboys.
Right.
So, realistically, this team, there's a possibility, even with the tie, that this team can be a number one seed.
Oh, I'm sure.
And and the road to the Super Bowl goes through Seattle.
I'm sure, but I'd be really concerned with them, and we can talk about that at the time because I definitely think that offensive line is going to be an issue for them moving forward. I mean, it's really, really going to be an issue for them moving forward. And any team with a halfway decent pass rush is going to be able to really give them fits. You look at a team like a Vikings. Any team with a dominant off defense going to be a serious problem for them.
Well, they only gave up 1 sack. That was it in 6 tackles.
That's just because Russell Wilson was able to just throw the ball away, throw it in the dirt, get out of danger, rush around a little bit. Trust me, they should have had probably 20 sacks, to be honest with you.
Got it.
Well, and as far as Arizona is concerned, I don't know what is wrong with Arizona.
They couldn't get it done either.
They would move it, but then stop. It's just that inconsistent, that rhythm. I don't know if Carson. His numbers were decent. He threw 342 yards through the air. I did see a little bit of movement with this Arizona offense, but it's just, I don't know. It's just not a consistent rhythm.
I know. So it's going to be tough to watch moving forward. Hey, we'll see how it ends up going.
Do you think Arizona's better than?
It's tough. I'm having a big challenge figuring out who's the class of the NFC. I really am, because it's up for grabs, Dream. It really is up for grabs.
Yeah.
With the inconsistencies of Green Bay, you got the Minnesota Vikings, you've got the Seattle Seahawks, Arizona Cardinals. That's why I'm saying that there could be some underdogs right now that are performing poorly that can emerge in the second half of the year and make the playoffs and possibly go on a run and get to the Super Bowl. I just don't see it. And I'm not, everybody's high on Dallas right now, but I'm not a super big fan of Dallas either. Think about it. It could be like the nasty Giants or something, Dream. Something stupid. Whoever gets hot, come December can be the team that represents the NFC. It's up in the air right now, guys. So that's going to be a question mark. Who do you think can win the NFC? Favorite or an underdog?
The nasty Giants. The Giants are that team.
Yeah, right.
That thing I was talking about.
It could happen, Dream. You just never know. Or watch. I wouldn't say Washington. I don't know who else. I really don't. I'm thinking of all these teams, and I just don't have a clear odds-on favorite right now. Maybe Green Bay gets hot. I don't know. It's tough for me to figure out as far as the NFC. So, anyway, moving on. That's the end of the recap of the NFL. That's Monday morning quarterback for you guys, and hope you enjoyed the segment. So right now we're going to move over to the college football rankings because they're out and the new rankings are among us, and a couple of changes, obviously, with the big Ohio State loss stream. Ready for it?
Yeah.
There we go. All right, so let's talk about it, guys. As you probably figured, number one in the land, the Alabama Crimson Tide, after their beatdown of Texas A&M this week, Dream. No surprises there.
No, not too much of a surprise. I like that.
All right, number two in the land, moving up from number 3, is the Michigan Wolverines and your boy Harbizzle. Number 2 in the land.
With them a little bit because no offense, but that's going to come down to
the offense has been good, though. They've been scoring a lot of points. They've been playing nobodies. And they got to Dream. Listen, they got to go into Sparty this week. They are a 3-touchdown favorite going into Michigan State.
They should be a 4-touchdown favorite going into Michigan State.
All right.
What's happened to them?
Oh, the Clemson Tigers sitting home on a bye week, jump from 4 to 3 with the
Here
Ohio
we
State
go.
loss.
Here we go. Everybody got FSU winning the money line.
I home team underdog. You already know that. I'm gonna money line Florida State. I think they'll beat them. To be honest with you.
Nope.
You don't think so?
Nope.
Not a revenge spot. Clemson doesn't do it for me. I don't think they have it this year. I think they were better last year. I
But
really
it's not
do.
Florida State though, Hat.
Okay. Number 4 in the land, Washington, jumping up from number 5, and they are 7-0 and the class of the Pac-12.
I struggle with Washington, man. I struggle with the Pac-12. It's just as far as the competitiveness in comparisons to the other conferences. But you can't take anything away from them. They're 7-0, and they're in that conference and have to beat who they play. So you have to put them there. But come end of the season, I'll tell you right now, if Washington goes into the playoff situation, has got to play Bama, Clemson, Louisville. I'm going.
I like them over Clemson.
Dude,
I like them over Clemson, but I think Alabama or Michigan, I think it'd be a really good game. I think this team's better than everybody thinks.
Ohio State, Hat.
You're playing some really potent offenses. And you know what? They got to go into Utah this week. And they're a 10.5 point favorite to the Utes in Utah. It's going to be a good game.
Utes can't beat them, though, I don't think.
What's that?
I don't think Utah can beat
No,
them.
I don't think so either.
Just,
Moving up from number 7 all the way to number 5, the Louisville Cardinal and Action Jackson Dream.
and I love this because this is telling you right now, I can tell you, this is telling you right now, if they got Louisville in front of Ohio State, if Ohio State beats Michigan, Louisville is going to probably leave. Louisville is going to make this playoff player.
Maybe.
I think this is going to be one of the first years that they don't go by the conference winner.
Well, it doesn't help them that Houston stinks. Because if Houston was really good and they go and murder Houston, which we think is going to happen, you would actually definitely have to consider them. But now that Houston is so bad, and Houston lost to SMU and got murdered by SMU on top of it, it doesn't really help.
Easy with that, boy.
I keep going back. See, Action Jackson's amazing. You know this guy's like 205 with 3% body fat. This guy's like a specimen. Action Jackson is. Going into Houston, and the problem is that I watched that Duke game, and I saw a lot of flaws in this team. And I just don't know if besides Clemson has a really strong defense, but Dream, you got a really good defense that could spy them. It might be tough for them to win that game, to be honest with you. They were talking about the Louisville Cardinal guys. Number 6, falling from number 2, is the Ohio State University, only dropping 4 spots, Dream.
And I think that's somewhat apropos, but they should drop further than that because you got a bunch of undefeated teams. I think that they should have dropped. I would have liked to see Nebraska and possibly even Baylor in front of them.
All right. Nebraska, number 7, raising from number 8. They are 7-0 now. And you know what? They didn't look as impressive as I thought they would versus Purdue.
They didn't. They were struggling with Purdue.
They were. I'm like, whoa, what's this all about? They only won
Tampa was struggling with A&M for a minute.
Yeah, right. Exactly. The only team that hasn't been struggling right now is Michigan, to be honest with you. Number 8, Baylor.
Because they opened up with 5 games at home.
Yeah, right. And then they got another game at home, too, coming up. But they got to play Michigan State this week. Number 8, Baylor, jumping up from number 9. What's your thought on the Baylor Bears?
Baylor's quietly doing it. You got to. I think we do now have to take a look at Baylor.
I agree.
Because they're quietly doing their thing. They've been, handling it, beating their opponents impressively. I know we all don't really want to look at Baylor. And the media's kind of staying away from Baylor. I don't know if it was because of the off-season stuff that went down either. Because you just don't hear a lot of talk about this team. But, hello, it is time to start talking about it.
You have to. You have to talk about the Big 12 Conference in general. I mean, you got a couple of undefeated teams in there. And you know what? I mean, all these teams need to play each other, I think. I'm going to pull it up right now, and we can have that conversation. But, you definitely need to pay attention to this conference. I think it's just a travesty that they don't have a championship game. I think that sucks. That sucks because they're a Power 5 conference, Dream.
Well, Baylor's got Texas coming up, so that's a blowout.
Yep.
And then they got TCU.
I don't know. I see not so fast.
Baylor's blowing out. Texas is done, and what's his name's getting fired.
All
They
right.
just lost to a terrible Kansas State team, and I'm sorry, but Coach Strong, you got to go, player.
They got to go to Oklahoma, Baylor. That
Now,
should be a great game.
Interesting game. They do have to go to Oklahoma, and that's after TCU as well. So that might be an interesting spot for them. You know, as Oklahoma's gameplay has started to improve, and we talked about it a little bit yesterday, they, kids already lost their games. No, they're not going to a playoff. Let's go out, win, have fun, and do our thing. And that seems to be the atmosphere for them. But, yeah, that might be the game.
Well, I can tell you this much, that if there was a Big 12 championship, you probably got the two teams facing each other on December 3rd as West Virginia hosts Baylor. So if both these teams win out, and the winner, you got to consider the winner of that game for a possible playoff bid, Dream.
Yes, you do.
If West Virginia goes undefeated and then beats Baylor at the end,
Right. You get consideration, but you don't get in.
you know. So
I considered you, but nah.
Wow, I think the committee's going to have their hands full this year. I really do. This is tough for them. Wow. Texas A&M drops from number 6 to number 9 with the loss to Alabama. They had a shot to win that game. They were close for a little while, but then Bama pulled away.
Right. I got no problem with where you're at.
I don't either. But you know what? I think that West Virginia should have leapfrogged them because West Virginia is number 10.
Agreed.
6-0, number 12 they were last week, and they're number 10 now. So, hey, West Virginia's got, I think they got a clear road ahead, Dream.
Okay.
Possibly. You might be looking at them. No, I'm just going to go through the rest of it here and just, stop me if you have anything that's a surprise to you or whatnot.
Here's my thing. Right here, I feel like Western Michigan should leapfrog everybody in front of them and be at the 11th spot.
Because you got Wisconsin, Florida State, not Boise, though. Boise's 7-0.
Okay.
You got Florida, Auburn, Oklahoma, the Utah Utes, Tennessee, number 18, LSU, number 19, and number 20, they have not moved, is Western Michigan, the Broncos. Haven't moved. They struggled a little bit with Eastern Mich.
They did, but I would have moved Western Michigan up, maybe into the 10 spot, to the 11 spot. Or Boise State. They should have been 11 and 12. You could flip-flop either one and then let everybody else fall into place just because they're undefeated.
Yeah, but it's the level of competition. That's why they're at number 20 and they haven't moved.
I agree, and I know. But then you look at a team like a Oklahoma, 2 bad losses under their belt.
Yeah.
And then Tennessee shouldn't even be in there.
Right.
Exactly.
Right
Navy could have went up a few too, by the way.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Number 20, 21 through 25 are as follows: North Carolina, Navy, Colorado, Penn State, and Va-Tech. I like Penn State cracking the top 25, 5-2 record, beating the Ohio State University. You got to give them credit for that.
Got to give them a little credit for that.
And you got to respect Colorado going into Stanford and winning, even though Stanford stinks.
True.
So that does it for the top 25, Dream. Not a lot of surprises there. This will all shake itself out. But I think that, like I said, like we've been saying, I think the Louisville conversation moving forward is going to be tough for the committee to figure it out this year. Moving on. So anyway, let's have a conversation. We got a game tonight, Dream. And we have the game where the Denver Broncos are hosting the Houston Texans. And right now on my board, I got a line of, I believe it was 8.5. Let me just pull it up, see where it is now. You got Denver minus 8.5 with an under over 40.5 points. You got Brock Osweiler returning to Mile High to play his old team, the Denver Broncos. Dream, 8.5 points. What's your thoughts here?
My thoughts are, I don't like giving out points. So you know how I feel about that.
Right.
But if there ever was going to be a spot to give out points, I think you could do it tonight. Yeah. I'm still not doing it, but I think you can do it. I'd rather definitely see you buy this under the 8, but definitely buy it to 6.5.
I like the underplay does look pretty strong. I mean, both of these teams defensively are really good. They're only allowing 18 points a game, and to be honest with you, Houston is not doing it offensively at all.
The only problem that I have with the under in this game is Houston may turn the ball over for touchdowns.
Yeah, right.
In a couple of spots. Big Brock, dropping back to throw that ball with Talib back there. I could see a bunch of Big Brock to Talib and touchdown.
Yeah.
The other thing about the Broncos is I do need to see Trevor Siemian look way better than he looked in his last performance because he looked awful last time out. I expect that to be some improvement. He is at home. I do expect the Denver Broncos not to throw the ball quite so much. Probably be a lot of that run game involved. So, yeah, you probably could tease the Broncos in the under in this spot. Again, I think that's probably a safe call.
Sure.
But you know me, I hate totals, even though I have been getting them somewhat to work this season. I do hate them. But I don't see the Texans having a lot of success in Denver.
I think I'm going to open up a marathon play.
That's
and
smart.
Begin with the Denver Broncos. I don't see the Broncos losing this game at all.
Sure.
I'm not a big fan of the Broncos, though. Especially with Trevor Siemian. I just don't see it. But this team is very, very dominant at home. 7-1 in the last 8 games at home, and Houston on the road is piss poor. 8-17 straight up in the last 25 games on the road. They're just not getting it done. They only win a third of their games on the road, Dream, in the last couple of years here. I'm looking at it. I see the under. 6 of the last 9 Denver games have gone under. I'm with you. I think the total is the way to go as far as getting this under. But, you could buy it up at a teaser situation. But I think the safest play would be to open it up with the Denver Broncos in a money line parlay and bring it all the way to next weekend.
Okay.
Or this weekend coming up, I should say.
Sure. And then you got a great, exciting game on Thursday.
God. Yeah, which we'll talk about on Thursday morning when we get back on the air.
Fortunately.
It's going to be a nasty one. What is it? Tennessee and Jags?
Dude, Tennessee and Jags is bad.
Oh, God. Brutal. But anyway, I think this game will be a little bit better. And the last time they played each other was back in 2013. They haven't seen each other in 3 years. And Denver dominated that one in Houston. And that was with...
Game should be pretty good. We'll get a look at Denver and be able to try to gauge Denver off of this game to see what Siemian shows us as far as moving forward. This is one of those gauge games I call where we'll be able to see how good Denver really is and maybe how bad the Texans really are as well moving forward. So this is one of those gauge games for me.
Sure. I like the Denver Broncos when they're home. I find these teams that I just love at home, and they are one of them, Dream. So, all right. So that's pretty much going to do it for the show. Great show today.
Just to remember that the NBA starts tomorrow. Incredible storylines in the NBA. This season is going to be a lot of fun with basketball. You've heard about some of the offseason stuff that's going on. The big talk, obviously, is Golden State Warriors adding Kevin Durant to the mix. We never really got into, though, there's been some little small rumblings about Kate Dizzle bouncing to Golden State.
Okay.
And the relationship with him and Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson, my guy.
You got football on the brain.
Russell Westbrook. I thought that was a little bit. I talked about that when it went down, and now I've been hearing slight rumbles out of it, out of the OKC camp. And OKC, man, what do they do moving forward this season without Kate Dizzle?
I don't know.
Your boy LeBron coming back ready to do his thing. They finally got J.R. Smith re-signed, gave him his money.
You know what? That's a great number 2 spot. Cleveland Cavaliers to beat the New York Knicks tomorrow night in Cleveland.
Cleveland Cavaliers.
Maybe I'll throw that in the money line parlay in the marathon play because I can't see Cleve losing their home opener.
What's the spread?
9.5. But a money line is pretty apropos.
You got
with the Denver Broncos.
Derrick Rizzo there now, player. The Knicks got
to
be
stop.
Good.
Derrick Rose. He'll be on the sideline at halftime with ice on his leg or something like that.
Rizzo said this is season greatest shape of his life. He's one of those little larks riding around Walmart.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
We got to get out of here, gang. We'll be back on Thursday, 9 o'clock, doing it again. I'm the Dream. Always remember who you're with. Make the most of each and every day because you cannot get this time back.
Yes, sir. Guys, it's Monday. You already know what Monday means. Go out and conquer the world and get that money. Take care.
Peace.